Okay, done.
Okay, and it works there?
Now it's on. Why the fuck did it do
Okay.
that? It's so
Remember,
stupid.
you have to change the visibility
I
to
did.
public.
I did that.
Okay.
It just for some
Dope.
reason that's the only thing I missed is it wasn't wanting to start for some reason.
Dog, I feel it. It's been a rough couple weeks.
Has it now? Has it now?
I can relate to that all too fucking well this week, man. It just seems like shit after shit this week for me.
Yeah, it's been like nonstop doctor's appointments and unexpected appearances by all of the people. Well, it is what it is.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, I know I got to deal with life on life's terms, but sometimes I can control, you know, how things go in my life. But sometimes I do turn it over to the race most of the time.
Now, the reality is, you can try to live with life on life's terms, but you also got to be able to roll with the punches. You're the only person that can control anything. And the only thing
Yeah,
you can control is how you respond to shit.
yeah, with me working in treatment and living in halfway and everything else that's getting fucking thrown at me, I pick up a year next month,
Brock,
February 23rd.
when did you start freaking working in treatment? Where was I at?
3 months ago.
Oh, okay, I missed that one.
Yeah, I work at Foundations now. I work at
Oh hell
as
yeah,
tech,
that's what's
Oh,
and
up.
that's so dope.
and I feel like I'm ready for a little bit more. I don't want to say freedom
It doesn't matter how
because for
much
the
freedom you get; it's just more bills and more stress. I'm gonna tell you that one right now from experience.
but instead of like furthering my progress, I feel like it's pushing me back now. For the first 6 months, I understood the accountability and calling me out on my bullshit. I fucking needed it, and that's facts.
Hey, my shit decided to crash, apparently. But,
Welcome back.
yeah. And also, my ghost profile is still here from the crash. But yeah, I can tell you this. No matter what you do in life, life is always stressful. I've been retired for 5 years. I've been sober for over a decade. Life doesn't get less stressful when you have more responsibilities or more options. Life doesn't get any less stressful ever. Life's always full of unexpected circumstances you just got to be able to deal with. And the thing now is learning the best possible way to deal with shit.
Leave halfway, moving, family. What happens? More bills, more freedom, but less time to do anything with given freedom. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go. I'm gonna go
yeah.
smoke
For
a
like the
square
first.
before 8:30. So I'll be
All right.
right back at 5, Chris.
All right, yeah, you got it.
Hey Brock, thanks for joining. I've been trying to get you to join for months now.
Sorry, my guy. I'm here now.
Yeah,
Like I said, for like the first 6 months, I could understand the accountability and call me out on my bullshit because I fucking needed it. And now it's getting to the point of, pushing me forward. It's kind of pushed me back. So I
yeah,
just feel like I'm stuck.
yeah. No, I understand it. Big thing for me was just being comfortable. Like
Yeah.
once you can get to the point where you're in a situation you don't want to be in, but you can exist in that moment, just that moment, comfortably, you can get through all the roughest shit.
Yeah.
Because as long as you can deal with the worst part of your daily life and not have any issues, you can get through just about everything.
Yeah.
I heard
Uh,
something you were saying when I walked off. You know what that is when you get your 1 year?
Huh.
What is it?
When is it? When's your 1
February
year?
21st.
Oh, you're hitting that slump. You're a month out. Oh, I get that every year. Every time I go to pick up another year, here comes the slump. About a month before I hit the next marker. Oh
Yeah.
man, where am I going with my life? I feel stagnant. What am I? What's going on? What's the next move? Where am I slacking in my program because something's wrong? Why I'm miserable, and I got this feeling because I'm about to hit another year, and I'm in disbelief that I've made it this far.
Yeah, this is the longest that I've been sober, man.
Oh man.
This is the
Once
longest
I
I've been
got-
sober by choice.
Yeah.
Once I got past 5 years, I stopped really counting until I hit that like decade mark. And at this point, like I'm probably closer to 15 than I am to a decade, but I couldn't tell you how long I've really been there.
Well, what they say in the other 12 steps rooms, like the first 5 years is when most people don't make it. Like people get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 to 5. Usually you fall off. And then people that can make it through 5 to 10 usually stay like long term. But 5 to 10, you see a lot of people drop too. Like 1 through 5 is hard. But if you make it that far, 5 through 10 isn't as hard. But you see a lot of people fall at like 7 and 8 years. But everybody I've met that has a decade or more, that's their way of life now. They've been doing it fucking 15, 20, 30 years.
Now,
You know.
So, you know Andrew Hooper, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm really considering being one of his house managers.
Holy shit. Why not do it?
oh
So,
shit, Dave's back in.
I called him today. So
I mean, Hooper's a good guy. He runs a program. He does those back porch little meetings with all his people. So I mean, you know. Damn, man, I have missed that ugly mug. What is
I
up,
know.
Nick? It's been a minute.
Just been trying to do my thing and just chill the fuck out. How y'all been?
I'm just smoking and bullshitting before we start the meeting. I mean, I've been pretty good. I got the flu and then I got strep and something in an upper respiratory. I was fucked up for like 9 days. And then I was dealing with my brother being at my house, and then the last day at my house he gets fucked up. And I know it was more than smoking weed. And then, you know, he was definitely, I could tell just by the way he was talking and acting, he was like tripping or fucking something was going on. And then that was the night that I found out my grandma passed away. So,
Dog, you've been going through it.
the next day I had to take my dad to the airport in Lauderdale.
That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit, dog. I was gonna say you don't like the cocksucker get all fuzzy. It's because you got sore throat. It's not sore throat. You actually been letting too many people hit it. But then you want to go with the other grandma thing in there. That's bullshit.
Bro, that's been the last few weeks of my life. It started before Christmas, so the whole time I had like a week off, over a week off. I was getting paid at my day job. The whole time that I'm off, I'm fucking sick. I'm sick for fucking Christmas. As soon as Christmas is over and I have my brother here, next thing you know, it's my grandma dies. Make sure my dad stays good, get him to the airport, pick up my little brother's shit from Miami so he can go and move over to some place down the road from here. It's been one thing after another, man.
Man.
This has been the worst holiday season of my sobriety.
Yeah. You know what? Same here.
I'm ready for August so I can see all you motherfuckers in the flesh again. I'm tired of Florida already. I am mentally checked out in 8 months from here, you know, already 7, 8 months. My brain is at gathering in Ohio, not Florida, in the day-to-day that I'm just doing right now.
Oh, Brian, you see my new tat that I got?
Yeah, the one that Mike did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent me pictures of it, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you know how to tap, Mike. I was like, well, I got a studio at my house. I might need you to do something.
So, Dave, you ready to be jealous again?
But you know, Mike, he's a wild card, you know. He's in, he's out.
Yeah.
Love the kid to death, but he can't get it right for nothing.
All right. So, you know the deal for my whole New Year's experience with Rob deciding to come and stay with me while Tox was in the hospital and shit. That was wild enough. He also decided to give me fucking charm while he was here.
Did he find your house acceptable enough in cleanliness?
Holy shit, no. No, the first 40 minutes that he was here, it was him walking around my entire house and critiquing everything to the point where he said, you know what? If you had about $2,000, we could rent a dumpster and we could empty the house, get custom built shelving, and we could turn the basement into a D&D room. And I was like, yeah, that's a great plan. I ain't got $2,000 or the money to rent a dumpster to throw away half my house.
No, we're not going to throw it away. I'm going to come and take half your house. We've done
after you just spent a week or two cleaning, it was still not up to par.
Oh, dude, you do not understand.
He don't, but I help him when I come up there with my trailer.
Yeah, like Rob's level of OCD is ridiculous. Everything that Rob owns, besides his Bruce Lee statue and his arcade and his pinball machine, all fits in a backpack. So any amount of anything is bizarre to him, and he does not understand.
Yeah, he wouldn't like it at my house.
Yo,
Oh God, dude.
Brock, Brock,
What's up?
Are you coming out to the skydiving shit next weekend?
I didn't know nothing about it.
Man, you better go ahead and fucking do the deposit. It's like $50 deposit, $150 the day up, man. Come out, man. There's a like.
I gotta
there's
work.
like there's
I
like
work every weekend.
Oh, you do? There's
Yeah.
already like 15, 20 of us going on Saturday. Next Saturday.
I wish I could be there with y'all, man.
That's fucking ridiculous.
What, jumping out of a plane or the price of it?
That. Yeah.
Both.
Well, Chris, the way you live, you don't have to pay $200 to have somebody strapped to your back.
Yeah, true enough. I can just go down to the leather bar and I'm good to go. I know.
What's a meeting without jokes before and after?
I know. But yeah, Dave is big and gay now.
There you go.
He said,
Yeah.
Whatever makes your driftwood float.
Yeah, apparently. Hey man, if you want to be a kangaroo, I know the right leather bar to take you to.
Kangaroo. Put them in the pouch.
Yeah, you put them in the pouch, covered in slime, and you're good to go.
Dave's just walking around with his microphone off, showing off all his stuff and talking, and I don't hear not a word.
I know. That's always Dave. Muted, talking shit.
Hear me. But you know, I will say, you can suck on my big golden ball. What did he say about that?
Dave, you see my giant one.
What did he
I see
say
that-
about my question, though?
So he said D100s have their place. Metal ones more than likely would throw off improper rolls over a long period of time because it would round the edges.
You would have to roll it one fucking time. One, not like fucking 50 games or one fucking time, this guy.
I know.
I like
Yeah,
that red
throw it at his head.
skull on your shelf.
Oh, it is actually, it's a strawberry and it's a lamp.
It looks like a skull.
It is a
It's a
skull.
strawberry.
It's a strawberry skull. Hold
Oh.
on. Ugh.
I like skulls. Just saying. Oh, it is a
Yeah.
strawberry. That's pretty dope.
Strawberry.
Yeah. I
That's
need
fresh.
to put batteries in it, but the eyes light up and shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I
got all
went to
fresh
that
decorations.
I went to that Certified Psychos tour. It was dope, but it would.
Yeah.
It's nothing like what y'all seen when y'all seen the original shit. But I had never seen Lotus play or Riders play, even though it was light. It was all
Oh
right.
yeah, you got the Diet Lotus and the Diet
Yeah.
Riders.
It was
Dope.
still fresh because I've never seen it in person. But it would have been
So
better if it would have been a decade ago, 15, 20 years ago.
yeah, Lotus is one of those things like I really wish they would never touch that. Riders, I'm 100% about them continuing it on because those are individual characters that they created for Riders that were never touched. If they wanted to carry that on, that's fine. Write new shit to it. Don't continue to regurgitate old shit.
Wasn't
Lotus,
like
though,
ABK
Lotus isn't
supposed
the
to come
same.
out with his Riders album, or one of them was supposed to come out with a solo album?
So we were supposed to get the ABK solo Riders album, and then we were also supposed to get Little Riders, which none of those ever came to be. And you know what? It's probably best because at this point, the idea of gangster rap done by modern rappers would be a shit show.
Yeah, it's just like
It's probably
superheroes that was supposed to come out.
yeah, which superheroes, I'm kind of glad that they never came out with it because I really feel like it would have ruined the whole concept of villains by them having haphazardly tried to put together the idea of superheroes in general. Because they're always going to be better at writing villains than they are ever going to be at writing what a hero is. And also, with the style of music that they were putting out in that time, trying to do a positive superhero album would have flopped.
That's where they needed like Jump and others. They could have pulled that side off. I mean, seriously, because with his Master of the Flying Guillotine, he had that sort of style that was just positive, that was just on a different level than Jay was. And I believe, honestly, this has nothing to do with anything, but, just my opinion. I believe he could have pulled off at least a major part of that. Now, I don't know who you would have put with him, and that's just real because there was very few people that was throwing a positive message like Jump has from day one. So I don't know who the fuck you would add to that roster.
So the only people that we could have added from that time period would have been V Sinister and Delusional out of Florida. Because those would have been the only people Rob would have ever worked with.
That's from the My Juggalo book days, or our Juggalo space days. They were all on there.
Yeah. Well, V Sinister was just at the gathering. He still works with Psychopathic here and there, not on any official capacity, but like here and there. But Delusional kind of dropped off the map like 10 years ago. So we have no idea what he's doing these days.
All right, well, it is officially 8:31. I guess we can start this meeting officially. Don't leave. Don't leave. This is a perfect topic.
Don't.
It's a perfect topic for you. It's on step 12 in service work. All that service work you've been pouring into other people.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh, here.
All right, I'm going to be all official and stuff because we're recording and we got new people in the room.
All right, remember to mention the PayPal.
I don't know any of that information, co-host. So
It is paypal.me/Juggalos in recovery.
if you want to donate, you're watching this at a later time, come donate, support the cause for Juggalos in recovery. My name is D, and I will be running the meeting tonight. Juggalos in recovery is about the community in recovery. There is no judging here. Everyone is unique, and so is their recovery. Our topic tonight is step 12. Having our eyes open to this new way of life, we now carry this message to other addicts who are still suffering, whether juggalo or not, because every human matters. So please feel free to talk about your experience. This meeting is about an hour long. For any newcomers, we appreciate the strength and humility you bring to the meeting, and we're happy you are there. Now let's get into it. I don't have anything written on step 12 here. I've been sober for over 4 years throughout other fellowships, and since 100 days sober, my life has been service work and spreading the message of recovery. Um, I've spent 18 years of my life drinking, drugging, criminal lifestyles, jail cells, and always knew in the back of my mind that a 12-step program is where I was going to find my way out, and I fought tooth and nail to have anything to do with a 12-step program of any kind. But I did 45 days in the county and I got out and decided to follow these suggestions I never wanted to follow and got a sponsor. And I went through my steps within 60 days of being out. And at that point in my life, I had burned everything to the ground and I was completely broken, miserable, no direction, 30 years old, in a halfway. And the most joy I've found throughout my sobriety is being of service to others and spreading the message. Even when my life was completely in shambles and I had no goals or no directions, being able to see somebody's eyes light up or something click from being able to share my experience and help guide them into a different way of life is always something that has been a highlight of my recovery. And like just this past weekend, I went and spoke somewhere because I got asked to last minute, and my grandma just passed. And I didn't want the last thing I wanted to do was service work that day, and I still ended up going and doing service work. And when I left, I just every time I leave doing service work, even then in the worst situations, it's like this spiritual high. It's like this uplifting moment. No matter how broken, tired, anything going on in my life, when I can go and share a message of hope, it's the most natural high that I can get without doing a drug. And there's been times in my recovery where I burn myself out on overextending service work and not putting enough work into myself, um, which is something I had to learn over time was the balance of it. But even like just doing these meetings and hoping that somebody catches a short or a video clip, or being in other 12-step fellowships and be able to be somebody who's known just by being in the rooms for as long as I have been, to be able to inspire anybody in any way, shape, or form to see that, you know, if somebody like me or Chris or anybody in this room can do this stuff and get sober, then anybody else can. If we can go from these worst case scenarios to a life of abundance and happiness and be able to show that to the person that's still broken, that needs that way out, is the most fulfilling thing that I can find in my life. And for the longest, my life was selfishness and self-centeredness. So to get out of yourself and care about your other people is one of the most fulfilling things when you spend a life not doing stuff like that. And at times it can be heartbreaking. You're in the fire line trying to help people and you see a lot of people that just can't get it, or that won't try to get it, or that you try to help repeatedly and it wears at you and breaks at you because you honestly care. And as long as I've been sober in other 12-step fellowships, I've been like the token juggalo guy for 4 years in this area. Everybody knows me that as, the one juggalo in recovery. And I always, proudly, tell everybody everywhere I go, yeah, I'm a juggalo. Yeah, I'm in recovery. And, this is what I do. And I mean, Brock's been around for a year. He's the only other person I've ever met in my area that now has long-term sobriety that's a juggalo. And I mean, he was saying before the meeting, like, he's working in the field too. I've been working in the field for 3 years, and even though it's a job, it still serves to other people, but it can be very mentally draining. But for the few that do make it, that do grow, that do change, that I see their lives improve drastically, make all the bad times nothing at all. And I think that's the whole purpose of the program, is to go through your stuff and then to give back to others. It gives you a sense of brotherly love. It gives you a sense of purpose in your life, that a lot of us were searching for before and using the drink or drugs as a purpose when ultimately they just became a necessity, or something that we couldn't shake. There was no purpose to it anymore besides blotting out our existence, you know. And I mean, I can't say enough about service work. Like, no matter how much, you know, what kind of service work, if it's just being a nice person in public and holding the door open for somebody, or it's helping another addict, or it's helping somebody who deals with people like us, is the most meaningful thing that brings value to my life, you know. And I just couldn't imagine a life without doing that kind of stuff now. And with that, I'm gonna quit rambling and open up the room. We have plenty of people here that I know do service for other people, so I'd like to hear anybody else's struggles or experiences with service work and how you cope or deal with the good and the bad.
So that's one of those many things that we don't really ever get to talk about as being kind of the face that people have to deal with when they're struggling, is that we've already been there. We already know what it's like to be on that other side, but having to take on other people's stress to help them through the hardest part of their bottom is so stressful that we have to take that on. And that correlates to every part of our life. And until we get that chance to find our proper outlet for excising that stress, that affects everybody that's around us. So one of the things that we try to focus on is part of our self-care routines, the things that we do that are just for us. Because if we don't do those things, if we don't do things that are so selfish that only serve us, it affects every other person that we try to help and everybody else around us that just has to exist near us. And that's one of those things that we need to probably talk more about in the future.
Yeah, I like that you've been pushing that. Like just today, like I got off work at like 2:30. I went to Walmart, got some stuff to dye my hair. Finished watching this TV show I've been watching and dyed my hair and like trimmed up and like kind of just like chilled and like relaxed after this long week because this week has been rough. The last few weeks have been rough. So I was like, I'm gonna take a few hours before my commitment tonight and the meeting tonight just to like be alone in peace because you know the wife's at work and the kids are just you know they're being kids. They're not doing nothing. And I was just like, I'm just gonna take time for me and just relax and do something I want to do. And you know, when you get caught up in the hustle and flow of work and trying to be helpful to other people, you kind of lose sight of that me time. You know, so I like that you always bring that up because it reminds me like I have to have my time for myself to unwind and to you know do something that keeps me in good spirits, right? Because if my cup is empty, I have nothing to give to anybody else, you know? So I got to make sure my cup stays full so I can be helpful to other people. I miss Nate.
Well, and the other thing is that, well, yeah. But the thing is this isn't the only stressful thing that we have to deal with on a daily basis. This isn't probably even the most stressful thing that anybody does on a regular basis. The rest of life is also stressful. But to willingly take on service work to add that extra stress into your life, if you don't already have those positive outlets, you're going to end up imploding at some point. You're going to end up relapsing. You're going to end up exploding at a loved one. You're going to end up having some kind of complications in your social life because you're carrying all of the people's stress around with you and not dealing with it. And that's why I harp on that so hard. One of my close friends does outreach work at the prisons out here. And that's all he does all year long. And everybody that he works with in the past 3 years has ended up institutionalized because they didn't have those positive coping mechanisms. He's the only one that ever made it through more than 2 years without a full-on breakdown. And he's the one that taught me how important it is to be able to express those stresses, because you carry that with you whether you know it or not until you do things that only serve self. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. A couple things that were going through my head as everybody was talking, and so the first thing was the service work. I I started out in my sobriety, and then tried to help other people as I went along. And I've never became a sponsor, but I have tried to help a few people. And for me, it's really tough because I like kind of take it personal as far as like, if they relapse or if they are just aren't getting it or they don't want to do, certain things. And, I take it really hard. Right. And, so for me, it's my service work comes from helping like the community with like the food banks and like cleaning up the neighborhood parks and shit like that. And just being of service in another way, hosting meetings, being at the meetings and stuff. There's just all sorts of ways of that you can be of service to other people without necessarily being a sponsor. For me, like I said, I have to, take care of myself, which leads into kind of the second part you guys were talking about is, taking care of yourself. I mean, the first like 90 days, man, it was just, taking care of myself, focusing on me. And I still carry that in and going into my fifth year being sober. And it's like, you have to take care of yourself first and foremost. Like if you, run out of gas, like I'm blanking on the saying, but if you run out of gas, you're not gonna be able to drive anybody around. Um, so it's, got to fill up the tank, got to take care of yourself. I'm constantly, trying to like do some sort of exercise, trying to, you know, take care of, shaving, like just basic stuff to take care of yourself to make yourself feel good. I think it's super important, especially in early sobriety. I mean, that's number one, taking care of yourself. If you're worried about other people, I know it sounds selfish, but if you're worried about other people, it's gonna be tough for that first 90 days. So that's all I got for now. Thanks, guys.
Go ahead, Brock.
All right, what's up, guys? I know I'm new to this, but I've known Brian for a while. As he said, I think that's where I am having my gas drained out at because I work in recovery. I'm a technician. A lot of these people that are coming in actually, you know, they say fuck the therapist and come straight to me a lot because I got sponsees out on the outside and trying to do that and then living halfway. So I'm always trying to compartmentalize everything that I'm doing, and I believe that's where I'm kind of slipping up at because that self care, like y'all said, it is very important, and that's where I'm trying to find the balance in all this, and I feel just kind of stuck because I think I bit off a little bit more I could chew this week. So yeah, and I tried to remember my steps every day, in and out, in and out. I guess I'm just trying to find something. Oh no, I just feel stuck.
I mean, I can tell you from my experience. I mean, we can always talk more in depth outside of meetings because I work in the same
Yeah,
environment, except for I have, a year sober, I have 72 residents. I think the hardest thing that for me, working in a behavioral tech setting, and it's not just a treatment center or a detox where they're there for a few days or a month, they're there long term. You're dealing with these people for months on end. Is the hardest part with me was learning a personal boundary, learning that no was full sentence, and learning to detach from people and situations. Like if you're doing good at this
Yeah.
now for me, like if you're doing good, I'm all for you. I'll give you advice. I'll give you suggestions. I'll push you in the right direction. But the moment that you're not in the recovery thing and this isn't what you want and you choose to go do what you want, I can flip that switch and not have anything to do with it. I can walk away and cut my ties and say, well, when you come back and you're ready, I'm all here for you and I support you. But while you're doing this, I have nothing for you. But like when I first started working in the field, the problem is I like people, even though I hate a bunch of people. I'm a social butterfly, even though I'm antisocial in my personal life. But in the work environment, I'm a social butterfly. At the meetings, I'm a social butterfly. In my downtime, I'm just like a loner, kind of just doing my own thing. And I grow these relationships, and I get attached to these people instead of realizing that they're there for the moment for whatever reason. They're gonna teach me something. It's gonna be a lesson or a blessing. That saying, you know. I am there for them in that moment for whatever reason, or there for them for me, and it's not going to be forever. It's not going to be long term, and I might not be the one to help them or make them get it, and that's perfectly fine. All I am is like what the step says is carrying the message to others. My story, my experience, my life, and what I got through is the message. Whether any seeds are planted or they take anything from what I say is totally up to them. That's all I can do. Same with sponsees, same with anything. All I'm doing is sharing my experience and telling what has worked for me and how I've stayed sober this long and been able to be at peace and happy a majority of the time. Not all the time, because sobriety isn't perfect all the time and life isn't perfect all the time. You know, we all have our highs and our lows, but definitely more happy days than it ever used to be, right? So for me, like once I could wrap my head around that all this is temporary and my only purpose is to share my experience to hope that it brings some light to somebody else to have them go in their head, I can do this too. That's really what it's about, you know? But that was the hardest part, was to not take it personal, you know? Because I felt like if I invested my energy and then something went wrong, I did something wrong. I didn't make nobody make that choice, though. Lots of hands raised.
And, and I'll go off what Dee said. And one of the biggest things that you come to realize in any type of recovery situation, you have to have that work-life balance. You have to have your cutoff point. You have to be unreachable at a certain extent. You want to sponsor these people? Dope. But X amount of hours are yours. The other X amount of hours are your service work. Once you hit that margin, you may go a little bit over it, but at some point you still need those hours that are just for you. It's just like any other job. You're doing your damn purpose. But once it's time for quitting time, work stays at the office. It's a little different with you living in your working situation. But at the same time, you still have to make that space that is just for you.
Nate. Oh, you go ahead, Nate.
Yep. I forgot to put my hand down, but that's good. It was still up. So, yeah. Anyway, I was doing service work for a while. Like I said, and with other, it was just tough. And I ran out of gas, and like I was doing I was a GS for a while in my group, and I'm not really into the politics thing either. And I was getting really just like fed up in my program, and running out of gas. So I just stepped back. I stepped out of the position and took time for myself. I had to do it. And it was probably the best thing I could have done at the time. So I recommend it, step back, do what's comfortable for you. What a couple of my sponsors have told me is that when you're in these meetings, just going to a meeting and talking like I am now, and like, you know, that's being of service to somebody because somebody else can pick up like a seed and take it, you know. So just being at a meeting is being of in service. Cleaning out the coffee cups if you go to physical meetings, that's being of service. So if you feel like you're taking on too much, it's okay to say this is fucked and I got to stop and reevaluate what I'm doing. So
Yeah,
that
I mean, you're exactly right, Nate. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, service work isn't like having to drain your life, right? Like I sponsor people, right? But here I'm probably the easiest sponsor if you want to be a dipshit because I'm like, all I want you to do is let me know we're gonna meet up at this time, and that everything's good. I don't do anything else for you but read with you and walk you through 12 steps. That's all I am. I'm just a tool. I'm nothing. And like it's just carrying the message. I know for me, like if I'm at a low spot, if I go share my story, my experience, strength, and hope, to me that is a spiritual recharge. Like I said, I get a high from that. And like Nate, that's how we met. Is at the gathering, me just start talking to you over a napkin and then talking about recovery, carrying a message, and then now we're in meetings together and you're in this stuff, you know, and that only happens by carrying a message wherever you go, you know, like without giving a fuck what anybody thinks about it. Like, I don't care if anybody's going to judge me because I'm in recovery. I don't care if anybody's going to judge me because I'm a juggalo. This is my life. This is my experience. And I openly wear it wherever I go and whoever I talk to. Right? And that's the whole purpose because we don't know who that's going to affect in the long run. It's not to drain ourselves at the expense of ourselves to go above and beyond to do whatever we can for every single person that we meet. That's not life. That's not reality. It's just to be a messenger of a different way of life. And if they pick that up or not, that's totally on them. I mean, Dave dealt with this situation not too long ago where he spent all his energy and might have felt bad because nothing was working. But that's Dave's story, you know? And when we do stuff like that, though, it's heartbreaking because we just want the best, but that person's not ready for it yet, you know? And that's when we have to learn that balance of, are we being a service to somebody or are we enabling somebody? We talk about the codependency stuff all the time. Anybody who's in recovery, who was an addict or alcoholic, we have the same problem that people that are in Al-Anon and stuff have is we are codependent. We help people to the point that we enable them and they walk all over us, and then we're the ones sitting here resentful or angry or upset, but we put ourselves in that situation to be because we didn't know how to have a personal boundary. And I'm speaking from experience because I've done it, not knowing how to have a personal boundary and saying no is no and enough is enough.
I mean, we can use this last gathering as a great example. We got overrun
Oh yeah, we
with people just dumping their fucked up friends on us. We didn't sign up for that. We handled the situation as it was, but then we had to set up them boundaries just so that we could continue to exist. And it was all thanks to D. You know, D reminded us of what it was that we were actually there to do. We weren't your trip sitters. We weren't there to help your drunk friends find their campsite. We weren't there to hang out with people tripping on way too many drugs. We were there to run meetings and to do the outreach that we came to do. So at some point, you have to set your boundaries and be okay with that. I know.
and yeah, that definitely did happen, and we definitely did. You know, here I've worked in the field. I know what's going on right now. He's fucked up. Let's make him eat something. Make him drink some water. Time to go. Time to get a campsite because for the person that doesn't want to get high or drunk here, you're in their space where they might feel comfortable away from this other 30,000 people that are wilding the fuck out. Because it did get kind of crazy there, and it was like, we gotta, we gotta nip this one down a little bit. You know?
That dude was fully naked
Fully naked.
in the recovery tent.
And he was
That
wearing,
wasn't
wearing what? one of Frank's flags or something?
Yeah, he was wearing a flag over his junk.
Oh, that was a funny time.
That still wasn't as bad as the dude that was coming in and doing rails off of our chairs in the mornings.
I wasn't there for that one.
No.
That's because I actually slept at the gathering, unlike most people.
I know. Well, long days, long nights. No time for anything.
Then you get me popping in, making your life that much more enjoyable.
What's cool about, but what I noticed, I saw one dude there. He kept coming in and out, and he was, talking about how he had a problem and he needed help. And then, like later on in the day, I'd see him like fucking just out of his mind, like rolling around on the steps that go down, And it's like, what was cool about that though is because like, he might have gone back out and whatever, but he might have picked something up, from coming in that tent and talking to people that maybe will fucking save his life later, he might have been the fucking flag dude. I don't even know. But he was.
No.
Yeah.
but that's a different thing. That's like you have some self-knowledge of what your problem is and you need to stop and you kind of want to stop, but you keep using because you haven't put in any work to stop. That's totally different than somebody just going, oh, that says recovery tent. I'll be safe while I'm fucked up out of my mind in there. Nobody's going to fuck with me there. That's two different mindsets,
Yeah, for sure. Well,
all right. Well, if nobody else has anything to share on this, I'm going to end the live recording and we can do it hangout.
I was just going to say, regardless where you at and what you're doing, respect for yourself and for others, regardless if you're sober, regardless if you're fucked up, respect goes so much fucking further, because even if you're having a bad trip and I'm in the recovery tent with you or Chris, I'll sit there. I'd be a trip sitter. I would, for the simple fact that you had fucking respect and you knew how to approach somebody the right way. But I'm also the same person to drag you outside and piss on you because I didn't like your attitude. I mean, it goes both fucking ways. Real shit. I mean, that's all.
Oh shit, Josie has words?
I kind of have words. Can't really talk. I sound like shit still. But I went outside.
It's okay.
I'm sick as fuck. Should not go to different places and hang out with homies on New Year's Eve by yourself without backup. Besides from some that are staying in one area. And one still hasn't shown up on here. But that's okay because fuck it. I don't care. Whoop whoop.
All right, well, with this, I'm going to end our live recording. And for anybody watching later, go to juggalosandrecovery.com and check out our meetings. Go to our channel, watch our shorts. More good stuff to come.
All right, guys, I got to bounce. Love you guys. Later.